It's very fascinating that when you go into this, you see that it's all contained in here. Now, more importantly for us is trying to be in a superior realm. Now, interestingly, in this, off the wheel, they have what is the Buddha of the past and the Buddha of the future. See the rainbow path that leads itself off the teachings of Gautama. The Buddha is usually that Buddha, and this is the Maitreya, or the Buddha of the future, who's pointing the way to the future. Which is important to understand that also within each of the regions there are what are known as bodhisattvas, that each region has an angel or a bodhisattva here and even in the heaven realm warning that this is temporary, because this is all contained in the world of time and space, but it's an eternal time and space. And we spoke about just recently with our group, understanding eternity as a film, like each little film slide that just plays as the light passes through eternity over and over and over and over. So that time is a cross-section of eternity, each moment. To be awake is to be able to stand outside of this as the essence in the world of Tiferet, or the causal world. Now, why this is so important is to stand outside, to not be captivated by my desires that lead to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next. It just creates a repetition. So the more I can stand outside, the more I can stand in a causal reality, the more I can separate myself from evolving and devolving and experience real, what is needed is a revolution, meaning standing completely outside, which is to be able to have will that is not dependent on what came before or what came after. And think, let's all for a moment feel that for a moment. Can we imagine what it would feel like to have a completely original thought? It's not that easy, right? It's like, because in music, it's all, oh, what are your influences? In work, how were you trained? What's your school of thought? Everything is built on the past. The difference for the Gnostic is we're informed by our memory, but we want to not react to our memory, because in that memory is a reaction. There's an interpretation of what happened. There's an amount of pain. There's an amount of suffering. There's an amount of fear that it's going to happen again. And that creates dependent origination, which means I don't want to do that again. But unfortunately, as a soul, until we awaken, we will have to do it again and again and again and again. And each time it happens, if we can stand outside and make a decision that is not based on the memory by itself. And how do we do that? We remember the being. We hold space beyond the memory. So having an original thought, and Plato talked about this, the difference between what he called ideas. Ideas are something revolutionary.
Mm-hmm.
They emerge from the consciousness. When we create space, if we can feel ourselves in the memory, but separate it psychologically from ourselves, pull it apart without identifying, what emerges from that is a comprehension or an idea.
Well, it's like we were talking about before, that the temperance of Saturn, of being able to stand at the precipice of the desire to think and go down that familiar, assured, self-sufficient track of thinking. It feels so tempting. It's so comfortable. It's so reactive. It so feels like second nature, but it's instinctive, repetitive nature. But to recognize, to be awake enough to recognize, oh, I want to go down that repetitive path. I'm going to hold, just like the magnetism of alchemy, I'm going to hold my stance in the moment in consciousness. So it's an energetic activity. It's not much more, it's not a mental activity.
No, it is absolutely not.
It's will.
And that's why it gets confusing. And someone earlier talked about boundaries. From a point of view, right? A healthy boundary, or we would say a healthy setting of boundaries, is to create a space through which we perceive the exterior. We don't keep it out, but we hold it as space so that we can make choice. Because choice is causation. We talk about free will, but we need to free our will from the wheel that's continually going, which is why these Buddhas are standing outside of the wheels completely. And these upper spheres are separate. There's a superior emotional field where inspiration comes from. And superior mind, which is imagination, the ability to see what is not being shown. It's so important that Master Samael mentions it in almost every book. Imagination, inspiration, and intuition, because that is how we free our consciousness. Superior mind is imagination, superior emotion is inspiration, and superior will is intuition, comprehension, knowing. So the essence, when I feel myself in the essence, even if I'm 97% something else, but I feel myself in my essence, I get the opportunity to comprehend myself. This video is an excerpt from a talk held at the BC Gnostic Center in Vancouver, Canada. Since ancient times, the esoteric teaching of Gnosticism has been conveyed master to disciple in an intimate setting, and therefore anything found written or recorded can only be an exoteric transmission and is meant to inspire and support. Gnosis is ideally experienced in person, with direct and consistent connection between teacher, student, and within a community where ample support, accountability, and collective learning can take place. That being said, we do offer online videos so that everyone may contact these transformative teachings, as well as ongoing online group study and practice to support those sincerely interested in this wisdom, but who are unable to join a group in person at this time. We encourage everyone to find a Gnostic school and community, and may the light of consciousness guide us all.